Man, what a finale for Loki. Let's talk about that final episode. So we just got the finale for Loki on Disney+. The final Loki Wednesday is upon us. It is a little bit bittersweet in that sense because it's been such a blast talking about this show. It's been a really fun ride. In particular due to the fact that the story has been so compelling, and as we're coming to that conclusion after last week's episode, we saw Loki and Sylvie defeat Goliath, and we're heading into this castle now as the final secrets are revealed in the finale. Definitely a very interesting finale, especially with the ramifications that's going to come out of this finale when it comes to the entire MCU. As far as finales go when it comes to these Disney+ MCU shows, it probably felt like the most reserved out of the ones between WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier. We do see Loki and Sylvie walk into this giant castle. I love the production design of this castle. It's super creepy. We also have a Miss Minutes jump scare. Like, I actually was not expecting a jump scare in my MCU shows, and that one actually got me. Miss Minutes is there. Of course, she's, always been kind of shady, and that kind of does confirm that she's been working, I guess, behind the scenes with the He Who Remains character who was revealed in this episode. He Who Remains is one of those characters I was kind of expecting to be in this castle. He was the final director of the TVA in the comics, and they've kind of spinned his origin at least a little bit in the show. But the big fun thing about the casting is He Who Remains is played by Jonathan Majors, who we do know is going to be Kang the Conqueror eventually in Quantumania. So it is awesome to actually see him get at least some sort of debut, because obviously Kang has a lot of different variants. So they can pick a bunch of different people before actually settling on Kang the Conqueror, which they do here in this episode, as a large chunk of the episode is actually Sylvie, Loki, and him talking about stuff when it comes to the deals that he wants to make. He wants them to actually take his place when it comes to pruning of people and keeping the timeline in check, because he's scared of his other variants and what they're able to do, and he also wants to reinsert them into the timeline. That's one of the other things he offers as a way to, I guess, kind of entice them to take on this role. We do definitely get some big hints when it comes to Kang the Conqueror as one of the many names that he says he's been described by as a conqueror. We get a little bit of a history when it comes to the variants, one from the 31st century, which is Kang the Conqueror, and of course we do see a little bit later on, we do see kind of a statue that looks a lot like the Kang the Conqueror version of Jonathan Majors. But it was pretty compelling seeing how different they're taking this situation when it comes to Sylvie and Loki. Loki wants to actually think things through when it comes to this offer, and you obviously don't want to kill this guy, because if you kill this guy, you're going to open up the multiverse to all these different potential variants of Kang, and that's going to be a pretty bad time, as we probably are going to see probably in future films. Sylvie just wants to kill this dude. Like, she is on the mission to kill this guy. She tries to kill him multiple times throughout the episode, and it actually is kind of funny. I've always loved Jonathan Majors as an actor, but I do really love seeing him ham it up so much in this role. I think that just shows you he's going to be really brilliant when he actually gets to be Kang the Conqueror in Quantumania. So this is kind of just a nice taster, if you will, to see what he's going to have as far as his potential goes. It's unfortunate, but not a really big surprise that Sylvie and Loki still kind of have trust issues with each other as the battle ensues between one another. I mean, I feel bad for this variant of Loki, but because he's like had so much growth in this show, and he like puts himself out there for Sylvie. He kisses her, he really just cares about her so much, and she just yeets him through a portal, sends him back to the TVA, and goes and actually kills He Who Remains. So Jonathan Majors, this version, is dead. We see a bunch of different fractures in the timeline, which definitely is going to be really bad for future installments. I definitely think we're going to see the ramifications of that in the Multiverse of Madness, and even probably in Spider-Man No Way Home as well. That basically takes up the major chunk of the episode, but there were some like dangling story threads that makes me think that there probably is actually going to be a season 2 of this show, as we see Ravonna and Mobius kind of reunite. They of course don't like each other all that much right now because they feel like they betrayed each other, but she pieces out, and while that's going on, we see B-15 track down a version of Ravonna Renslayer in Ohio in 2018, and we don't really resolve that in this episode. That's why I think we're probably going to get another season. I was mildly bummed out though that we didn't get to see Mobius on his jet ski, because that was something I was kind of hoping we would get in the finale, even if it didn't really make sense. As I said earlier on, we see Loki is now back at the TVA. He's going up to Mobius and B-15 talking about all the stuff that's going on with the timeline and all the stuff that they messed up, and it seems like he has no idea who he is, which is really creepy as we pan out, and then we see the statue has turned into a more Kang the Conqueror-esque statue of Jonathan Majors. So at least we're laying the groundwork for Kang the Conqueror before we see him in Quantumania. And also other variants of Kang as well, as Jonathan Majors does mention a couple other ones as well, so I imagine we'll probably maybe see Immortus and even maybe an Iron Lad as well in the future, just because of the way that they're setting things up in the MCU. There's a lot of different directions you can go in. But yeah, quite an interesting finale. We do have some open plot threads that I am curious to see explored, whether it be in a season 2 of Loki or in another movie, of course. I don't know, like, just because I feel like this is definitely the one that has the most potential for a season 2, just because there are those open plot threads. But who knows? This was a solid finale in my opinion. I'm excited to see where these characters end up next, because there's so many potential ways we can go, especially with the multiverse stuff. But yeah, as I said before, make sure you share your thoughts down below. What'd you think of this finale for Loki? Were you satisfied with the conclusion of this series? You not satisfied? Also, just share your thoughts down below where you think we're going to see some of these characters next, because part of the fun of this is having that discussion, those theories, and sharing all those and all that stuff. Thank you as always for checking my videos, though. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun checking out Loki with you guys and have those discussions each and every week. If you haven't already, make sure to like on the video and also subscribe to the channel so you're updated with all my other movie reviews, trailer reaction, and all that stuff on the channel. But until next time, I'll see you guys later.